Good evening. I'm Pat Harvey, and we begin with growing concern on college campuses in Southern California and around the country as President Trump's crackdown on foreign students studying in the U.S. grows. KCAL News political reporter Tom Wade is live on the UCLA campus where protests over the war in the Middle East raged last summer, and now some students are scared. Tom?
And good evening to you, Pat. You're absolutely right. I mean, we were there for so many months and weeks of these big protests and, of course, that encampment. It is pretty clear tonight when we tried reaching out to a number of the people involved with the protests and the encampment, none of them got back to us. There is clearly a lot of fear over this issue. April 30th, 2024, violence explodes on the UCLA campus as the controversial pro-Palestinian encampment is attacked. Days later, police used force to move in, make arrests, and dismantle it. Now, almost a year later, and with President Trump in office, pro-Palestinian protesters fear new retribution. That's because the Trump administration announced 300 student visas nationwide have been revoked, citing campus protests like this one as the reason.
Why would any country in the world allow people to come and disrupt? Now, we gave you a visa to come and study and get a degree, not to become a social activist that tears up our university campuses. And if we've given you a visa and then you decide to do that, we're going to take it away.
Protesters inside the encampment who were attacked during the riot at UCLA last April are now suing the university and law enforcement agencies for allowing the mob to carry out the assault for hours before intervening. The attorney representing the protesters says some of the non-citizen alleged victims of the attack who are here on visas decided not to join the lawsuit out of fear they could be deported.
It goes to this climate of fear I think we're all living in right now. Where people are not even willing to exercise their rights to bring a legal case where it's so obvious that they've been harmed. The risk, I think, is great right now for their continued status within this country.
Among those arrested and detained so far across the country, Turkish national Rümeysa Öztürk. Agents in plain clothes, wearing masks, took her into custody on a Massachusetts sidewalk. The Department of Homeland Security said she was taken to an ICE detention facility in Louisiana because she was, quote, engaged in activities in support of Hamas, but didn't provide details of those alleged activities. In 2024, Öztürk did write a piece for the school paper calling on Tufts to acknowledge the Palestinian genocide and divest from Israel. The piece made no mention of Hamas. Öztürk's arrest is just the latest in a string of high-profile detentions of foreign nationals involved in pro-Palestinian protests. This week, a federal judge temporarily blocked the Trump administration from arresting and deporting a Columbia University student protester, Yunseo Chung, a permanent resident. This follows the arrest of former Columbia grad student Mahmoud Khalil and a number of others throughout the country.
Once you obtain a student visa or a green card, you're entitled to certain constitutional protections as a person in the United States. So legally, the question is whether or not the administration has violated one of those constitutional protections, the freedom of speech or due process.
We reached out to the UCLA administration to find out whether or not someone from the Trump administration had reached out to them to get information about pro-Palestinian protesters, students here on campus. Though we did make contact with the spokesperson, they said they would check on that information. They did not get back to us. Reporting live on the UCLA campus, I'm Tom Waite, KCAL News.
Thank you so much for that, Tom.